Good day everyone, my name is Nicole Cantanhas, a grade 12 student. So for today, before I start to our topic, I want you to guess what is the fourth picture describing about. So after guessing the fourth picture that I showed you earlier, so how are we define what is freedom? So freedom can define as the state of being able to act, to speak, or to think without any external restriction or limitation. It is the ability to make choices and decisions based on one's own will without interference or coercion from others. On the other hand, freedom is a fundamental human right and is essential for the development of individuals and society. It fosters creativity, innovation, and progress, as it encourages diversity of thought and different perspectives. Throughout history, people have fought and continue to fight for freedom, as it is intrinsic to human dignity and the pursuit of a just and equitable world. And there are three kinds of freedom. The first one is physical freedom, second one is psychological freedom, and the third one is moral freedom. Physical freedom refers to the ability to move and act without physical constraints or barrier. It involves having the freedom to travel, explore, engage in physical activities, and make choices about one's body and movement. Physical freedom is a fundamental aspect of human dignity, enabling the individuals to fully participate in society, pursue their goals, and enjoy a sense of autonomy. However, it is important to recognize that physical freedom must be respected within the legal and ethical boundaries, with the due regard for the right and freedom of others. Physical freedom encompasses several aspects including travel. The freedom to travel and explore different places, whether locally or intentionally. It includes the ability to choose one destination, mode of transportation, and duration of the journey. 2. Self-determination. The ability to make choices regarding one's own body and physical well-being. This includes decisions about personal appearance, clothing, choices, and engaging in activity that bring joy and fulfillment. The second kind of freedom is psychological freedom. Refers to the state of being free from the internal constraint, limitation, and psychological burden that hinder personal growth, happiness, and well-being. It involves the having the ability to think, feel, and make the choices without being excessively influenced or controlled by external pressures of societal norms or negative thoughts and emotions. In psychological freedom, it includes growth and self-actualization. Psychological freedom also encompasses the pursuit of personal growth, development, and self-actualization. It involves exploring new ideas, challenging oneself in pursuing goals and aspirations that align with one's passions and potential. Psychological freedom encompasses several aspects including self-awareness. The ability to understand one's own thoughts, emotions, and behavior, as well as the underlying motivation and beliefs that drives them. This self-awareness helps individuals to identify and challenge limiting patterns and beliefs, leading to greater psychological freedom. And the last kind of freedom, it calls moral freedom. Moral freedom is the ability to make choice and act in accordance with one's own moral beliefs, values, and principles. It encompasses the autonomy and responsibility to make decisions based on what is considered morally right or wrong. Regardless of external pressure of societal norms, moral freedom goes beyond legal obligations and societal expectations, as it involves an individual's personal understanding of ethics and principles. In order to exercise moral freedom, individual must possess a clear understanding of their own moral beliefs and values. This requires self-reflection and introspection. to evaluate what is truly important to them and what they believe to be right or wrong. It involves considering the consequences of one's action, taking into account the impact on others, and the overall being of society. In summary, moral freedom allows individuals to make decisions and act in line with their own moral beliefs and values, independent of external influences. It requires self-awareness, introspection, and the courage to stand up for one's conviction. By exercising moral freedom, individuals can strive to live a life that is aligned with their principles and contributes positively to the well-being of themselves and others. After discussing the kind of freedom, now we engaging to know the elements of freedom. There are two elements of freedom. First, voluntariness, and second, responsibility. This freedom encompasses both the ability to make choices and the capacity to act upon them. It recognizes the personal agency, allowing individuals to determine their own courses of action based on their beliefs, values, and desires. However, it's important to note that freedom of voluntariness does not mean absolute freedom without any limits. There are legal and ethical boundaries that restrict certain actions, such as those that cause harm or infringe upon the right of others. This concept acknowledges that no freedom should be exercised in a way that undermines the fundamental principle of justice, equality, and the human rights. Freedom of responsibility refers to the idea that individuals should have the freedom to fulfill their duties and obligations willingly and with accountability. It emphasizes the importance of personal agency, autonomy, and conscientious action, while also acknowledging the need of supports and resources to effectively meet responsibility. While the term freedom of responsibility is not commonly used, I can understand it as referring to the concept of individuals having the freedom to exercise their responsibilities and obligations willingly and with accountability. In other words, it is emphasized the idea that individuals should have the freedom to fulfill their duties and obligations in voluntary and conscientious manner rather than being coerced or forced into them. Bye guys! Thank you for watching and listening the topic about freedom of a human person. Bye-bye!